Did we just start the recording when we don't have our speaker?
I mean, I am next, so I can still reiterate her introduction, which
Perfect.
would help out because part of my speech piggybacks on hers. So it's a good thing. At least I can make it a good thing. I should say that.
Yeah, go ahead, Bart. I think we lost you.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, Delta Sids, brothers, welcome to this Alumni Summit for Professional and Personal Development. My name is Bart Leonidas, and I am one of the brothers who will be speaking at the opening ceremony today. We just lost our first speaker, Amanda, and part of her speech piggybacks on mine, part of my speech piggybacks on hers, because this event is about networking. This event is about creating spaces by brothers for brothers. But before I talk about the importance of networking, I'm going to give you a quick background as to how this summit came about. As you all have seen through the events on Facebook, this event today is hosted by FRAC. And as is traditional to all events hosted by FRAC, we are trying to create a moment where brothers can meet together, can re-meet and mingle with one another, not simply at Leeds and at GCCs. Where this event slightly differs is instead of simply creating a moment, this event should become a spark for us to create spaces for us and by us, where we don't simply speak about fraternity matters and fraternal concerns, but rather we can come together, share questions, share challenges, and share opportunities that we are undertaking through our daily life. If you have looked through the event plan today, you will see that there's numerous discussions that relates to both personal life and professional life. Some of us still strive to become a homeowner, and real estate agents who will be speaking today should provide us with that kind of information. Some of us have aging parents who may leave an estate to us, whether complete or partial. And it is imperative for us to have the means and the ways to know how to take care of that estate, and better yet, prepare ourselves to pass it on to our children and grandchildren in the future. With the advent of AI, we are experiencing a slow shift in the workforce. And we should not only be aware of how to use AI and how to use it effectively, but also understand what is the impact of AI through our degrees and our careers. Any certification who may increase in value in the future, and any other changes that will impact our careers and our prospects. This event, FRAC hopes, will give brothers the idea of starting conversations where we can share each other's opportunities, where we can help each other out through similar challenges, or we can meet brothers who are at the same stages of life, and we can hopefully speak about it, network, and mingle. This is where this day came about. And like Amanda spoke earlier, the core idea is for brothers to meet and talk and network. I am a real estate professional, and I was surprised at how important networking is in my profession. I have been through a multitude of open houses, a multitude of networking lunches and mixers, where I have to interact with other professionals and other professionals that are adjacent to my community. And given my degree in economics, I would not have been able to network and to speak to those professionals without the Sigma Pi, without my time as a collegiate brother, as an alumni brother, and without my experience at Leeds and GCCs. Like Amanda spoke earlier, networking sometimes feels like a chore, feels like a homework, because you have to go to the event, figure out how to speak to people, figure out how do I interact with other professionals without simply taking their information, taking their numbers, taking their emails, and leaving them high and dry. And that is a struggle that we all face the first time we network, because we understand intrinsically the need to exchange, the need to providing value in order to receive it. The Simplified teaches us that we get out what we put in, as we know. How do we do that when we are still understanding, still figuring out networking? And while you may not have perhaps professional experience as the main form of value and the main form of asset that you can share with others, your curiosity, your novelty, your youth, your inexperience can be used as factors where you can start introducing yourself and speaking to people. Hi, my name is Bart. I am new in this domain. I understand you're a professional. What is one piece of advice that you would recommend me to proceed with that career? What is something that you've noticed has been changing that you would warn me about? What is one thing that you now realize is a weakness within you and an aspect that you wish you knew more about that I can help you with? There are a multitude of facets where we can simply meet people and talk to them and proceed to network without necessarily having the knowledge and the experience that most people exchange in a typical networking event. The idea of this Alumni Summit is for us to not only have moments and events where we can speak about professional and personal development, but give us the idea of knowing who we can network with pertaining to which challenges in our life. This is why we believe it's important to have those, and hopefully in the future, create spaces where we can talk and interact. FRAC did start laying the groundwork for those spaces. There are a few Facebook pages that currently exist. The Foodie Group, where we talk about our love of food. The speakers, where those who are willing to speak of their career and be speakers with professional activity events can showcase themselves and provide their availabilities to collegiate chapters or even alumni chapters and alumni events. Those pages, we hope, would, in collaboration with today's event, give brothers the opportunity to take initiative and to speak about the challenges that they are facing, the opportunities that they're trying to reach, and hopefully create a space where we can all come together and all network around that subject. As Amanda was saying earlier, networking is important for all matters, whether fraternity or otherwise. Using our fraternal bond is the first step. This is the foundation that we will be using today to hopefully continue networking, meet new people, speak to new people, and create spaces where we can furthermore talk about this. This is why when we go through the sessions today and we meet our participants, it is always encouraged to introduce ourselves, to share our email and our phone number, social media handles, so that we can start that process of networking. We can start that process of conversing around certain aspects of life. If we're all going through this together and we're all in the same stages of life, it is a lot easier for us to simply go through that motion together, go through that adventure together. It is FRAC's hope that we will not simply be the only one to create those moments and those spaces for others, where we can inspire brothers all across the country and hopefully beyond the United States to start that conversation, to exchange ideas, to be able to help each other out and advise each other and help us present our opportunities. Speaking of this particular event, we have 6 sessions coming up in the next 3 to 4 hours. And it is encouraged that if you do know anybody that could jump on a call, or anybody who you know that subject to, that they will find that subject interesting, if they can spare an hour, invite them. Make sure that they can at least realize, oh, I do mean to buy a house, and now I'm getting that knowledge. Or my parents are getting older and they do have an estate. It will be a good thing for me to learn how to manage that estate. So I encourage you all, whether it is in this event or outside of the event, to network, to talk to brothers, and to make new friends within the fraternity. To quickly recap with what I just spoke about, networking is one of the main aspects, whether fraternity or professionally, that allow us to further ourselves, whether on a personal level, professional level, or fraternity level. We are always encouraged to speak and interact and meet new brothers, make new friendship within the fraternity, have more acquaintances that we know what to do with. And hopefully this will help us meet life's challenges and discover opportunities that we would otherwise not have known were there. I hope you enjoy this upcoming event. I hope you enjoy the upcoming speeches. And it is my hope that this Alumni Summit, perhaps not always hosted by FRAC, becomes the first of many spaces where brothers can then speak to each other outside of the fraternity matters and into personal and professional matters. Don't forget to network. Don't forget to make new friends. And I sincerely hope that today leads to the start of more friendship. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bart. Brother Hotwagner, it's all you.
Hello, brothers. I appreciate the opportunity. Heard some good ideas about networking and such. I'm going to touch base on similar ideas, but probably more from a more personal perspective. How whether or not we realize that we're always networking, whether we're standing in line somewhere or sitting in front of the television watching it, have our family members with us. We're always networking. We're always trying to stay connected. And sometimes subconsciously, those, whether you realize it or not, that moment's going to come full circle for you. Me personally, having some friends in college and then graduating and moving on and then going back to visit them for lunch, I actually landed a job that I'm still with today. Friendships, even just different connections. Networking, connectivity is all a part. I was standing getting gas today at the gas station, and normally you know how you're standing there and you want the pump to hurry up and fill you up, and it keeps clicking off and such. Well, for some reason today it was slow and it never clicked off, so I stood there, looked around, and I realized, knowing what we're going to talk about today, how much there is connection in everything we do. Looking at the family that just got out of the car talking as they're going into the convenience store, or looking across the parking lot into a field, wondering what happened there 100 years ago. You know, there's always some type of connection. And whether or not we're listening to a song on the radio, sometimes it instantly brings us back to that time when we first heard that. The wind blowing in the air, we're connected to our surroundings. But anything we do on a daily basis, it's kind of like our own job interview every time, but we're reconnecting with people on a daily basis. Standing in, going to the store, and you might never talk to that one person, but every time you see them, you just kind of nod and give that acknowledgement. So whether or not you know them, you're still connecting and you're still networking. I'm originally from Chicago. Lived in Bridgeview, Illinois for a little bit of time, and later on down the line, met Joe Ward, who lived in Burbank. Well, Burbank was right next door to Bridgeview. So he and I had that instant connection as far as, hey, we lived in the same general area. So no matter what we do, there's always a little bit of element that we can tie back to networking. Why do we network? Why do we connect? Why do we connect with each other? Sometimes it's a matter of, you know what, I need to take 5 minutes and reconnect, because on a daily basis, we get up to go to work and we're focused on getting to the job, and you go drive directly to it. And sometimes everything around you is just in that tunnel as you get to work. But it's good to sometimes slow down a little bit and see what's out there. I pass the same deal every day going to work, but hey, I just realized that they had an addition started. Now that doesn't sound very, very observant on my part, but it's just important for us to take a step back in our daily time to reconnect. it allows me and should allow us all to reconnect with ourselves as well. We're all busy. We're all doing stuff every day, and different things coming from different areas. If we're able to slow down and connect with ourselves, we're better able to connect and help others out. And as far as the fraternity goes, Delta Sig, it has helped me become who I am today. As we all have our own individual stories on how we became connected to the fraternity. I actually almost didn't join after all. I started going through the process, but I have my pledge educator actually came to me and said, I think this is going to be good for you. I wish you would stay. And I'm glad she talked me into it. And because of her, I am connected to Delta Sigma Pi, and I will be forever grateful and connected to her because she talked me into sticking around, and I'm glad I did. As far as FRAC goes, as we've talked about, FRAC has provided another opportunity for us all to connect as brothers and as non-brothers, for that matter. We might have some guests on here that are not brothers of the fraternity. It allows those who are not members to see what Delta Sigma Pi is all about, what our brotherhood is all about, and what we as individuals are all about. Going to lead events and grand chapter congresses, and we're able to see each other in person. And during the time of COVID and such, we didn't have those opportunities. Now, yeah, we can go to work and see our coworkers, and we may work with a fellow Delta Sig, but having the opportunity to jump online in a Zoom setting or an online setting to still connect with our brothers and our friends allows us to have an opportunity to stay connected and to regenerate and recharge our batteries and recenter ourselves until that time when we can see each other in person and give each other a hug or shake each other's hand. So it's very important for us to realize that we're always connecting, and a lot of times those networkings come full circle. It's a great honor for me to join here and visit with you all. I appreciate it, and remember, no matter what we do, we're always connecting and networking. Thank you all.
Thanks so much, Jerry, for joining us today. Always great to have you with us. I think that takes us to you, Eddie, the infamous Eddie Stevens.
Thank you for that, Vito. I love muting myself on Zoom. I'll never get old of that. My name's Eddie Stevens. I have been a brother of Delta Sigma Pi since 1991. That's 33 years. And I was from University of Miami, Beta Omega, had leadership roles in the fraternity, had leadership roles as a collegiate, enjoyed being on the board of directors of the fraternity, served Leadership Foundation as president and chair. And those experiences, like Jerry, have helped me a lot and helped form who I am as a professional. Delta Sigma Pi gave me a competitive advantage over my peers. It gave me a leg up with public speaking, conflict resolution, consensus building, the importance of your personal and professional network, what we're talking about, and developing your personal brand. These skills helped me become a lawyer and get a good job. Now I own my own law firm. But I am not going to drone on about the things I learned about in Delta Sigma Pi. Instead, I'm going to discuss those things as a 52-year-old business person and human. I wish I learned a whole lot earlier. First thing, in an organization, you have a duty to create your replacement. Whatever organization you are a part of, whether it's Delta Sig, another charity, a business, whatever, thinking you will always be the leader does a disservice to the team, unit, or business. It limits their growth. There is a clock running on every leader. From day one, they should think about who to hand the reins to in the future and begin coaching and mentoring them to prepare them for that eventuality. 2, every organization needs a contrarian. When you are in a group and a consensus is reached easily, be warned of unintended consequences. There are potential outcomes that become apparent when you look at an issue from every angle. Making good decisions requires critical thinking. Groupthink is a phenomenon that occurs when a group of individuals reaches a consensus without critical reasoning or evaluation of the consequences or alternatives. Groupthink is based on a common desire not to upset the balance in a group of people. Their desire creates a dynamic within a group whereby creativity and individuality are stifled in order to avoid conflict. The contrarian challenges people. At times it may be annoying, but it is necessary for any successful organization. Do not shun the contrarian, embrace him. Next thing I wish I learned a whole lot earlier, the importance of self-care. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I am a litigator. Specifically, I am a board-certified family and marital attorney, very stressful. After 25 years, my firm has reached a point where we do not have to advertise. There is enough work that I can bill every moment of my day if I wanted to, but I don't. Why? Because the work I do, I know it's toxic. The American Bar Association recently did a study and concluded 21% of attorneys were considered problem drinkers. National average was only 8%. So because I signed up to be an attorney, I've increased my chances of being a problem drinker over the national average by 2 to 3 times. And guess what? There is a huge stigma in our country against receiving treatment for mental health. If you break your arm, no one's going to say anything if you go to the hospital and get a cast, but the same cannot be said about our mental health. So here's what I have done to stay healthy. Exercise regularly. Most of my life, I did not exercise. And it's really hard to start in your late 40s, but it's necessary. I sure do wish I took better care of my body my entire life, but it's not too late. So just get started. Second, do not overwork. Like I said, I cannot bill more than 35 hours in a week. The level of stress that I deal with at work, it's akin to handling poison. So the more I work, the more I get exposed to poison and potentially the sicker I could become. So it's important to keep my stress level as low as possible. So in doing that, I've developed the rules of 4. So in addition to tending to my family and my work, I have a rule of 4. And this is something I negotiated with my wife because she did not want to lose me to other things because I have a problem saying no. And if I say yes to everything, I spread myself too thin and I don't do a great job. So I have the rule of 4. So in addition to work and tending to my family, there are 4 other activities at any given moment that I am involved with. These activities could be a hobby. They could be working with an organization. It could be my work with Delta Sigma Pi, but at any one time, I only have 4 things going. And this has created a great intention in my life because the things I do are really important for me. Because if I want to do something new, I have to eliminate something that I'm doing now. So this rule has kept me sane. It has helped my marriage with Jackie, and I follow it pretty strictly. Rule of 4. I strongly recommend it. The next thing, I really had no idea of the importance of it, but is the importance of staying hydrated. It's really good for you. Water helps dissipate heat. By sweating, it prevents overheating. It ensures your optimal performance. It lubricates your joints. It prevents infections. It helps dissolve the nutrients so they're absorbed into your bloodstream and they're delivered throughout your body. Being well hydrated will improve your sleep quality. It improves your cognition. It improves your mood. It is suggested that men drink 124 ounces of water a day. That's almost a gallon. Women should be drinking 92 ounces. That's over 10 cups of water. This is a half a gallon. So guys should be drinking 2 of these a day. I'm almost through my first one, and wherever I go now, you see me with a water bottle. I've also eliminated sodas because now that I'm 52, I'm realizing that my body is probably not going to last forever, and it takes a little effort to maintain those things in proper working order. Next thing, have a hobby. You know, one of the 4 things. At 50 years old, I started something totally new, jujitsu. Now, if I knew jujitsu was the hardest martial art there was, I probably wouldn't have chosen it, but I did. And now I love it. I have never had such personal contact with other people except my wife. And I have never done anything that was so physically challenging. At 6 a.m., 3 times a week, I show up to our facility and I train. And the folks that train at 6 a.m., they're not normal. They're like cops, first responders, and they're all in their 20s. I'm not in my 20s, and I'm not that physically fit. So it's really challenging, but it's a lot of fun. And to put yourself in such an uncomfortable position, there's no BS. It shows you exactly like what you're about. So after a year of training, I entered my first jiu-jitsu tournament for real. At the age of 51, there was no one in my age and weight group for me to compete against in the entire state of Florida. So they moved me to a much younger age bracket, the 35 to 45-year-olds. And they put me in a weight class that was 20 pounds heavier. And they could only find one opponent for me in the state of Florida. There was just one person that was in that category. And he happened to be a Navy SEAL. So I didn't win, and my coach was probably surprised I was not seriously injured. Yet it was an amazing experience for me. Before the tournament started, something happened that I really didn't expect would ever happen. I had what you would call an adrenaline drop. Now, adrenaline is the hormone that causes the fight or flight response. And before the tournament, I had the biggest adrenaline rush of my life. And that would never have happened if I had not put myself in this crazy, uncomfortable position. But I truly believe when you do that, that's where the magic happens. Next point is finding a really good life balance. This gives you some idea of how I balance my life, stressful job, looking after my health, exercising, pushing myself outside of my safety zone. All of this helps keep me mentally, physically healthy. These are some things I wish I learned earlier in my life. One more thing. When you're in an organization, sometimes you have to walk away from that organization. And when you do, it's nice to have something there for you. And those are really good positive experiences, and you could go through them and evolve and bring those experiences back to Delta Sigma Pi. So that way, not only are you evolving yourself, but you're helping everybody else around you learn and grow as well. So those are some of my thoughts. I was really happy to be invited to participate with you guys, and proud to be a Delta Sig. Let's have a great day.
Thank you, Eddie, for agreeing to come out for that great keynote. So it's about 12:40 right now. Our first sessions will start at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So in about 20 minutes, that will be with Ali, who's going to talk about engaging with DSP on the non-traditional route, and Mr. Michael Vernable, who's going to be talking about understanding AI. So if you want to take a break, go use the bathroom, go get a snack, handle some business, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to push everyone back into the main meeting room. And then once those sessions starts, I'll divide you up into whatever session you wish to attend. And in the meantime, we'll go back into the main room and just, I guess, chat. I haven't seen a lot of you guys in a while, and some of you guys I don't know. So let's have at it. Thank you again to our awesome speakers, and thanks for coming to the summit. It's going to be a good day.